Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Brilliant Shadows. We are continuing right where we left off after the horrible mispairing, not being paired, but being paired. I don't know, but we're going to find out. Ash went to sleep, and now we're waking up, so, let's find out. The phoenix on the back of her hand told her it had not.
Thank the gods, you're finally up.
Their arms were around one another in a moment.
You feeling okay? Are you feeling ill? Let's try that.
No, or at least I'm not sick.
Good. Did you sleep in your dress robes?
Apparently she had. That would explain the sharp pain in the back of her head. Ow, yeah. Right, that headdress would not feel good. Hairpins made poor pillows. I can only imagine. Ash scanned her room. They were alone.
Where's Hecktor?
He's still on a rampage. He's convinced someone didn't get paired, and they'd pretend to be paired with the friend they wanted to be paired to. Apparently, he can tell if a mark is a mark, or just like a mark.
Ah, yes, very eloquently explained.
Prude laughed.
Good to see you're feeling better. Here, let me help you with that.
With Prude's assistance, Ash removed the offending hairpin and slipped into a more casual dress.
I'm just glad the pin didn't do any permanent damage.
I doubt my head could have survived much more trauma than it already did.
Ash let out a long breath and turned to Prude.
What was that fight about yesterday? I can hardly believe that Hecktor would argue with a head.
You didn't catch that? You were pretty out of it, but I'm not sure if I should tell you.
Please. Everything is awful as it is. The least you could do is spare me from censorship.
Okay, just promise you won't jump to conclusions.
I promise nothing.
Yeah, we promised nothing.
Fine. Look. Apparently, a while ago, Hecktor kinda developed a spell that can sorta dissolve a pairing.
He what?
He did what?
More than that, he was, I'm really not sure I should be telling you this. He was trying to develop a method to, force a pairing.
No.
But it didn't work. He tried it with a teacher whose necromancer died, and again with one of the students who didn't get paired last year. Look, Ash, it doesn't work. Not to mention that apparently broken pairs fix themselves with a pairing ritual. Heck conducted a test a while ago where a number of unpaired and those with willingly broken pairings performed a pairing ritual, and they were all repaired or left unpaired exactly as they were before.
An awkward silence still hung between them as Ash's mind reeled.
He didn't do this to you, I promise. I've given it a lot of thought, and I think Heck is on the right trail. There's someone out there who's lying about their pair. It's just some mosshead who's more scared about being paired wrong than we were.
How can someone I am paired to do something so awful?
Yeah, that's not great either.
Perhaps they're just really that dumb? I could see you doing well with a pet meathead.
Ash couldn't help but laugh. Prude had always said that one day she would be her pet meathead. Oh.
So, how is he so far?
What do you mean so far? He's done nothing but to try to deal with your situation. I haven't had the chance to know.
Prude looked away from Ash for a moment.
But I think he's a good guy. Oh, yesterday he brought us food from the festival. Way more than we can reasonably eat, and choice bits at that. I think he feels guilty about what happened.
I mean...
Do you? Feel guilty, I mean.
No.
Somehow, the ease with which she said it sent a cold spike of pain into Ash's stomach. Yeah, that doesn't feel good, given the circumstance.
I know that sounds callous, but Wait until you find your partner. It will all make sense.
You were supposed to be our partner. Sad. The two sat in silence.
You said something about food?
Yeah, food's good.
Oh, yeah, over there.
Ash's eyes popped as the entire spread of a catering table lay across atop her dresser.
Light and shadows.
Told you. Good guy.
So the two ate, laughed, and Ash tried to enjoy what some dark voice in the back of her mind told her was the last chance she'd have to be with her dearest and closest friend. Great, now it's sad again. Prude and Ash must have been talking for hours, though. Ash could not recall a single topic when a knock sounded at the door.
Come in!
Hey, it's my room.
Oh, everybody's here. Zachariah, Luciana, and Hecktor all stepped inside. Hecktor had a bloody lip.
I am sorry, but...
No luck.
No, I am sorry. It appears all of the pairs this year are legitimate.
Rampage over here started performing a ritual to break the pairings on everyone in the building, to force everyone to repair, because he's convinced that someone is still hiding something.
I mean, jeez, that's a bit much. That's a lot.
I know I panicked for a moment on the floor, but you are right. The ritual does not fail. Someone is paired to her, and for whatever reason, they are concealing it.
I stopped him.
You interrupted the ritual. If Luciana had not come to help you, I would have easily beaten you and finished the spell.
You're a zealous little ball of rancor, aren't you?
Hecktor bore his teeth at Zachariah, and she kicked him in the stomach. He responded in kind, taking a swing at her throat, only to catch a shield from Prude, which sent him sprawling to the floor. What?
We appreciate what you are trying to do, but we have checked every single paladin on the grounds, and in fact every member of the staff and grounds visitors. It would not be the first time we had a handmaiden secretly complete training. Sadly, there is no match to Ms. Ashmar's Phoenix.
Hecktor stood up again, grimacing.
I know more about the pairing ritual than any other necromancer or paladin at this school. I promise, I will find...
No.
Hecktor gaped, flabbergasted.
I appreciate what you are trying to do, but you wanted to join the army, right?
Hecktor nodded, looking away with narrowed eyes.
And Prude, you were going to join the Kingsguard and protect your mother, right? Your desires coincide. You should walk that path together.
This is sad.
And what about you?
Yeah, what about us?
That was already decided before your noble gesture, Ash.
Alright, first of all.
Huh?
You will stay alongside Hecktor and Prudence for now. Hecktor is correct in that he is the most knowledgeable in this matter. I profess his abilities in that regard exceed even my own. However, none of you will be leaving until this is resolved.
Veronica stays because we need to figure out where her mark came from. Hecktor stays because we may need his research, and Prude stays because we don't split fresh pairs.
I have mixed feelings about this.
Don't worry, Ash. We'll figure this out.
Thank you. All of you.
Don't thank us yet, child. You may have much more suffering to come.
Why? Why do you say that? About what? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Ash started awake with a kick. She was attentive and alert within moments. Mornings were easy for her. She had never known why. Assuming, of course, she hadn't done anything excessive the night before. She rose and donned her gown. She knotted her hair into its familiar bun and looped her amulet around her neck. Mornings were easy. It was what came next that would be hard. Who was that to be so early?
Yes?
Her door opened and a bedraggled Hecktor strode in.
I believe I have a few more ideas as to how your mark might have come about, but I need to examine it to proceed with my research.
Have you been up all night?
Yes, but it's hardly the first all-nighter I have pulled.
Prude is going to kill you if she finds out you're not sleeping. She always gives me a hard time.
Well, yes, but I'm sure she will appreciate the importance of what I am doing. She's still asleep, I believe. I waited until the time you normally wake up to visit you.
You know what time I wake up?
I know what time everyone wakes up.
Why do you know that?
That's actually kind of creepy.
Yeah, I don't...
Well, I am creepy. There is no escaping that fact. It does not lessen my abilities nor invalidate my competence.
Alright, man. Ash struggled to conceal a smirk. He hadn't said it as a joke.
You really are going to get along well with Prude.
I hope so. It would certainly be unfortunate for a pair to not get along. Now may I see your mark?
Ash let her smile break through as she offered her hand. When he had been a teacher, Hecktor had always seemed strict and very much a know-it-all. There was a certain amount of comfort in knowing that such an individual was concerned for her now. But why was he so concerned? She decided she might as well ask.
Why are you so concerned with me?
That should be obvious. Do you know the stigma that comes with failing to be paired? Most students simply leave the school, abandon the profession. It is a shame that haunts you. The desperation. 2 years of being unwanted, you begin to feel that any length is nothing to achieve the recognition you deserve.
Hecktor seemed to suddenly notice what he was saying and snap back to the present.
But you have it far worse than I did. You don't even have the hope of being paired, because once you have a mark, you cannot be paired again. Believe me, I have tried, and so have others.
Wow, way to make me feel better.
Sorry, but you asked me why I was helping you. The truth is that I don't want anyone to be in the same situation I was, let alone the best friend of my pairing partner.
Hecktor smiled. It was an expression that Ash had never seen during the entire year he had been teaching or the year before it. It was genuine, it was warm, it was caring. It was who he had been before the ritual where he had been left alone.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you learn anything?
Hecktor let go of her hand and let out a sigh.
I truly wish I could say yes, but no, I am still quite lost. I just can't determine what would cause this. The spell has never failed. There is no precedence. My only thought is that it might have succeeded in an unexpected manner.
What does that mean?
For example, you paired with someone who was kidnapped immediately after the ritual. That seems highly unlikely, but a part of me thinks it's more likely than the spell failing.
Is that why you were so concerned when Prude didn't speak up?
No, that was me being a tad manic and immediately panicking. Prudence's silence merely provoked a bit of foolishness from me.
Hecktor sighed, and for a moment he looked ancient.
Do you need to sleep? Maybe something to eat?
No, not at all. I have so much work to do.
Come on, there's still some of the food you brought us yesterday.
Is there?
Hecktor looked longingly towards the spread.
Well, I suppose a few moments of indulgence could not possibly cost me a breakthrough.
He ate like a ravenous fiend. Ash silently wondered exactly how many meals he had skipped. The counter now mostly clear of food, Hecktor let out a long yawn.
Sit down, Hecktor.
Ash patted the bed.
Why in light and shadow would I do that? I have so much work to do.
I want to talk to you about the incident. Maybe if I tell you more about what happened leading up to it, you might figure something out.
I suppose, yes, we could review it again.
Hecktor sat on the bed and something seemed to finally give way in him. By Ash's estimate, he had skipped 2 sleep nights in a row. I don't know why I said it like that. That's not how it was written. Hecktor's head drooped, and in a moment he fell over. Ash tucked him in as she finished what little food remained after Hecktor had inhaled the majority. She found it hard to believe, but a part of her wanted to forgive the man for having stolen the pairing with Prudence. He was quickly proving himself to be what Prudence's initial estimate had been, a good man. Another part made her simply resent him more. Okay. Taking a deep breath, Ash looked around the room. It didn't take a second glance to tell her she needed to be looking at something else. Oh, but where to go? Go to the gardens, go to the training grounds. Let's go to the gardens. We are, after all, a plant necromancer from what I did come into this knowing that. Some fresh air and the scent of roses that weren't long since dried out would do her well. With that thought in mind, Ash drew a book from her shelf. It was one of many she had read more than a dozen times before for her research. Tucking the book under her arm, she slid out the door, locking it behind herself. Where we going? I know we're going to the gardens. The walk to the garden was spent with the book as a blinder, obscuring the path directly before her. Not that it was one she needed to see to walk. She had taken the path almost every day for 16 years. The book itself was so familiar she may as well recite it as read it. She had discovered it in her 11th year. It had been in the Paladin section of the library. Its title was Healing Plants. She had at first assumed from the title it was a glossary of medicinal herbs. The actual contents were quite different. Though the book was old, it contained documentation into an entirely new technique. It documented a paladin's forays in attempting to heal plants. Ultimately, the very author determined the research, though successful, useless. Ash had seen it from another perspective. If one could perform one of the pairing magics upon a plant, why couldn't one perform the opposite? She had then begun her research into plant reanimation. Having finally graduated impaired, this should have been her golden opportunity to actually put her research to the test. Lacking a pair from which to draw the light needed, however, left her where she had been the last 5 years.
Light and shadows!
Ooh, hey. The rancor in the girl's voice was enough to peel her eyes from the book to the garden around her. When exactly had she arrived, she had been really into it. A girl stood at the far end of the mostly empty garden. Her hand was outstretched and she was sweating as she strained.
Come on!
The girl's intensity made the air feel heavy. Her pale face, a complexionary side effect of being a necromancer, was beginning to darken and redden.
Please!
Are you okay? The girl's outstretched hand flexed. At once, the girl collapsed, panting desperately.
Are you okay?
The girl started, her eyes looking into Ash's with fear.
I'm fine. Don't bother me! Can't you see I'm training?
This is the garden! Wait, don't pause. What? Yeah, there we go. The young necromancer's eyes were heavy with tears. Ash wondered if the girl could even recognize her through that haze.
I'm sorry. Do you need help?
No! I don't need help from anyone. I can pass my exams. No problem!
With that, the girl turned on her heel and was away at a run, if a slow one.
Well, okay then.
Ash shrugged and turned back to her book. She was sure the girl could use some help, but she wasn't about to offer it. She doubted she could really be of any assistance anyway, with her own plate already tall with her own problems.
What you reading there?
A new girl had appeared, and she leaned over Ash with an interest and enthusiasm that reminded her of the day she had found the book. A shiver raced down her spine.
Sorry. Too close?
The girl stepped back.
It's a book on healing plants.
Healing plants? That doesn't sound particularly useful. Not unless you have sentient plants or something. Wait, there aren't sentient plants, are there?
No, or at least none I'm aware of. I use the book as a reference for my own research. It's become a kind of comfort read for me.
We're very open with her.
Oh, I know about those. I had a copy of the monster manual as a kid. I can't make it past Aboleth without nodding right off.
Oh, is this just straight up a reference? What? Abholith? What was this girl on about?
Yeah, something like
That's
that.
straight up D&D reference.
So, what kind of research are you doing?
The girl was twirling a rose between her fingers.
I'm trying to develop a method to reanimate plants. I was hoping to test out my spells once I had been paired, but
Ash simply trailed off, not really wanting to go into the details of her situation.
Yeah, I don't really understand the whole pairing thing.
Ash cocked an eyebrow at the girl. She looked the same age as her. Surely she should be years into her ritual training by now.
Well, not yet anyway. Not completely. So, reanimating plants. That sounds more useful than healing them.
With a small smile, the girl carefully laid the rose on the book.
Could you, bring back a field of failed crops or something?
I don't know yet. It may leave the crops devoid of nutrition, so that may not be an option. I don't know what it can be used for, to be honest, or even if it can be done.
Just need to push the limits one way or another, huh?
Ash nodded and stared at the phoenix on her hand.
It's a pretty bird. What is it?
Was she asking about the Was she asking what a mark was? No, that was rude to even assume. It only took her a moment more to realize what the girl had meant.
It's the Phoenix mark. I don't know what it supposedly means, though. I don't buy into mark interpretation.
Do you know anyone else with the mark?
No, it's pretty rare apparently. Meaning, the only other person with my mark is my pair.
Idly, Ash's eyes fell to the girl's hands. She wore gloves. That was odd.
Ash, are you here?
Prude's voice came from behind her, and Ash turned on instinct.
Ash, was it?
Ash turned to see the girl giving a small wave.
It looks like you have company. I will excuse myself. Good luck on your research.
The girl smiled as she departed, and Ash smiled back. Ash knew it would only be a matter of time before Prude found her. Prude was like that, always caring. The two of them walked together back towards Ash's room.
At least it doesn't look like it was me that woke you up this time.
No, just Hecktor. He lost consciousness on my bed.
Wait, did he pass out while checking on you?
Yes, and might I add that it's nice to know that you didn't immediately assume the worst.
Please. Well, I won't say I couldn't imagine a romance forming between you two. I doubt either of you are the type to find yourselves in bed so early into it.
You laughed, a little too loudly, perhaps. After a time, Ash slowed her pace, turning to look at Prude.
I just wanted to say that I'm sorry.
Sorry? For what?
I'm sorry that you were going to be stuck here with me. I know you were really looking forward to returning home and joining the King's Guard.
Oh, it's okay. I'm sure my mom can wait a bit longer. Excusing that, if it meant being away from my best friend, I wouldn't really want to go.
Ash knew the comment was supposed to comfort, but guilt strangled her.
You know that we're going to have to separate eventually. Even if we figure out what is happening with my mark, the fact remains that you were paired to Hecktor. Even if it turns out I wasn't properly paired, we still weren't paired to each other.
Well, my reasoning is that whoever you are eventually paired with will still end up paired.
Ash's heart beat quickly, and she could feel a blush in her cheeks.
Thanks for saying that.
We promised we'd always be together, right? Though, it's strange to think that there could be others involved in our little friendship. I barely knew Hecktor until the ritual.
Funny, he knew you.
He did?
She seemed far too eager to hear more about Ash's last remark.
He came to wake me up the day of the ceremony, only minutes after yourself. He commented that it wasn't really a surprise that you'd have taken the time to wake me up.
Huh. I wonder if there was a personal reason for him knowing me, or if he just happens to have taken the time to memorize the identity of every student.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised either way, though I don't know which is creepier.
right?
Hey, he's still my partner. You shouldn't call him creepy.
My apologies, my dear, but I do believe it was he who called himself creepy. Or would you disagree with him?
Prude cocked her head in exaggerated thought.
I suppose I really can't argue with an expert.
The two laughed. It was a familiar sensation, and for a moment the shock of the ritual was finally, if however temporarily, behind them.
Should we maybe go for a walk and let him nap?
Yeah.
Ugh, I'm glad he's sleeping. I was actually starting to feel tired from the amount of sleep he was skipping.
Okay, I've pushed this as long as it could be pushed. I don't want to keep going because I don't want to go over time, but this is a fascinating story. I don't really understand all the characters we met in the garden. The girl with the gloves is interesting, but she's a necromancer, and you get paired with a paladin. Like it said, necromancer girl, so... but apparently all the necromancers hang out in the garden, I guess. Either way, though, we're going to continue this story. I am loving it so far. It's very, like, the art style is very pretty, and, like, I know it's essentially just me reading a book and hearing the voice acting, but I hope you're enjoying it along with me, because I thoroughly am loving this. Anything with necromancy and anything with a cute story of love or trying to find love or trying to figure out love is always something I appreciate. So I will see you all tomorrow, and make sure to give the video a like and make sure to subscribe if you want to see more from me. And I will see you all tomorrow. Take care, my little moonbeams. Bye-bye.